Greetings, traveler. I am the Blue Regent. Welcome back to the Lapis Kingdom. On the last episode, we recovered a little bit from the quest to get a trident and spent a little time tidying up the village. Now today I have a couple building projects that I want to get started. So if you're ready, settle up and let's begin. Before we get to any building, a thing that I want to do is I want to spend a little time working on gathering from our farms. Now this wheat farm is still the only source of wheat that we have in the village, but as far as the carrot and potato farms, those essentially are really only decoration at this point, because we have our automated carrot and potato farms underground. Now we aren't really directly relying on the wheat farm for food, however we are using it as a source of food for breeding our cows in the crush farm that we have in the Undercity. So this is still kind of indirectly a food source, simply because it's what we use to feed our food, if that makes sense. Now there are ways to more automate, I guess, wheat farms in the game. However, I just don't really gather this that much. Between the AFK fishing farm that we have and the automatic potato and carrot farms, food is not a thing that we're hurting on in the Lapis Kingdom. Anytime I gather any of my wheat, all my extra wheat seeds end up going in the bone meal generator, and that is because it increases our bone meal creation, so we're not just relying on our skeleton farm. Now these carrots I'm going to gather too, and that's simply because I want to try to get our pig crush farms going completely, so that they're actually producing raw pork chops. The only reason I'm really gathering these potatoes is because why not? You know, it's something I can trade with my villagers, it's something I can feed to my pigs, and might as well just grab it while I'm here. Now that we have all those crops gathered, let's go check out our crush farms. Hello, cows. Thank you for your sacrifice. And thank you for your sacrifice. Just come check on the sheep real quick, see how they're doing. Oh yeah, look at that. Great job, you guys. Hello? Hello? Everyone doing well over here? I just gathered, yeah, I just collected from here, so there really isn't a lot to... That's fine. No big deal, seeing as I just came and picked up some food from here a little while ago. Hey pigs. Yep, have some carrots. You're welcome. And you have some carrots. Now they aren't going to be dropping anything yet, simply because I know there aren't a full amount of pigs in each yet. So that's okay, but we're working there. And then we'll just drop off all of the rest of our extra stuff down here in the trade hall. Okay. Let's see if we can trade these. Cool, so we'll trade any extra potatoes we have. Great, 9 emeralds. And we definitely can still do some more trading, so let's just see how far we can go with this. Great, leaving here with 24 emeralds. and a couple more levels, it looks like, so that's great. Another thing I want to take a little time to do is to use the zombie spawner to repair some of our tools. So we've got all of our tools repaired, and I've got a ton of rotten flesh, so let's go drop that back off at the trade hall. Here, let's trade with you, and let's try to get you leveled up a little bit. Okay, you're maxed out. How are you doing? Great. Cool. I'm going to take all but one of this, all but one of this, all but one of this. Those are coming with me. We'll head back up top. Okay, and now for the main reason that we repaired all of our tools today, which is I want to finish off decorating outside of the Mage Tower and decorating the interior of the Mage Tower. Because I want this to kind of look sort of like a manicured garden, like a meditation botanical garden kind of thing, I am gonna flatten most of this. And so let's start with that. Okay, so let's see here. Do I want to keep this little mound here? You know what? No, I think I'm going to take this down one more layer, and then I might use some of this podzol as kind of like helping me determine where this boundary is. So we'll get rid of this last layer too. Okay, so now that I've got that all flattened out, I think I'm going to start tracing where I want this, like, garden of sorts to go. So I'm just going to kind of, like, draw some lines. And the thing that I kind of want to keep characteristic of Azeroth, and it'll pop back up again when we get to Stromgarde, is that they kind of tend to do things in straight lines. And so I'm going to be creating a little bit of a challenge for myself. Cool. In making this like look nice. while also kind of doing a lot of like 90-degree angles. Okay, alright, so we've got this area kind of like boxed in, and essentially, oh, poor squid. Essentially what's going to happen is this is just going to kind of get turned into like a little meditative garden of sorts. So I'm going to now go through and tear up this layer of stone that is everywhere and then put down dirt. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. You know, I think the biggest learning experience I've had in working on this project so far is don't make a cobblestone generator until you need one. And the experience of making it was cool, and, you know, I like our little quarry thing over there, but it doesn't really have a use. It doesn't get used. I think and I've probably said this before, but the only time I've ever actually gathered stone from it is when I was showing how it worked. You know, I don't regret having made it. That's the first time I've ever made one of those. However, I haven't had a use for it yet. And that's time that I could have spent doing something else. It's weird how when you go into a building situation and you like know that you're doing big projects from the get-go, that you kind of are already gathering most of the resources you need for much bigger projects early on. And the reason I say that is because, you know, I'm not quite to the point where we're going to be building Stormwind yet, but in the process of trying to kind of figure out the palette and all of this like experimental build stuff that we're doing very early on, it is lending towards me really building up my pool of resources early. You know, normally when I play, if I'm going to be doing a lot of building, you know, my playstyle is normally when I'm playing just for fun, like, oh, I want to have some iron armor, so I need a blacksmith, which then turns into like, oh, now I have to gather all the resources to build a blacksmith. But this is like, I have to plan where a blacksmith goes, I have to figure out the space, and then I want to do it. Also, I have to, you know, kind of change the terrain significantly to do that. And so there's a lot of resource gathering that just kind of inherently comes from setting up these projects. And so like by the time I got to the blacksmith that I wanted to build, I had already gathered a ton of stone. And so simply just the way that planning this settlement out and kind of figuring out how everything's going to be laid out and everything, I've inadvertently been gathering all of the resources I'm going to need for the most part anyways. So, you know, I've yet to find myself saying I just don't have enough stone. Oh, I was very engrossed in what I was doing, and I did. Oh, okay, all right. I'm surrounded. I mean, I don't really know what I'm worried about because I'm in my armor, but I just that was an unpleasant surprise. Hi, you are not welcome here. Ow. Wow. Nice shot. Wow. Look at that. Where's your captain at? Huh. Okay, well, no captain. That's fine. That was an unexpected and unpleasant surprise, but not one we couldn't handle. So I have all of the stone in this enclosed area replaced with dirt blocks, which is now turning into grass. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on the actual wall that's going to go around the perimeter. So using polished andesite stones and steps and slabs, I've created this nice little arch for when we come up the walkway. And so now what I'm going to do is every 3 blocks, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, or I guess it's every 4 blocks, isn't it? So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. But with the 3 block gap, basically, I'm going to put down here a polished andesite block, and this will kind of actually help us figure out the overall size officially of this, and also help us to start to figure out how this wall is going to look. So here, because I would have to go onto the podzol if I went out any farther, I'm actually going to come in. So this is going to be the last block on this corner. Like that. So there'll probably be some slight perimeter changes with this as we go. So because of the spacing that we were doing, the overall size of this has increased just a little bit, which is fine, actually. It was kind of just a rough estimate on where everything was going to go, but I really liked this part of the wall hugged this little dirt mound here, and I liked the idea of part of the wall having just like a pile of dirt against it. So I think I'm actually going to pick this up and I think what I'm gonna do is just do a little this kind of thing right here. I just like the idea of that. This like mound of dirt that has, for one reason or another, been built up along this part of the wall. So I got all of the stone replaced with dirt, which is now filled in with grass block. I also have this outer wall completely done, which is basically just smooth andesite blocks, cobblestone wall, some iron bars to kind of act like fencing, and then I have on all of these pillars capped off with smooth stone slabs. Now I realized as I was going through that I did some of my counting wrong, and I have a little bit of a hiccup here. So I think I'm actually going to turn this possibly into kind of like a back gate, maybe, to come out to this area, which I don't think I'm going to work on today. Do I have any stairs? I do have some stairs. So let's see. I don't think I'm going to do any work on this part today. However, this can be something that can be worked on in the future. So maybe this will just be like a little back gate area to out here for, I don't know, maybe going to go gather items for like enchanting and that kind of stuff. Maybe that's what the resident mage would use this for. But yeah, we'll just have this little like back gate area. It was an accident, but I'm keeping it because I kind of like how it turned out. The next step is going to be to get all of this moved inside and then probably to decorate the interior of this. And I have some ideas of how I want to do it. I just need to start working on it. So I spent quite a bit of time off camera doing some decorating in the courtyard for the Mage Tower. And we're going to do a little bit of a reveal here because I think it's a huge change and also a massive improvement. So here is the current state of the courtyard for the Mage Tower. Have this nice little winding path that takes us all the way back to what will ultimately be this rear gate back here. And then I just have a few oak trees planted around, and then I just used some bone meal to get some like random grass and flowers and stuff going. And I also, on the interior, went along the entire way around with 3 high spruce leaves. And I also have been slowly adding vines to kind of help thicken up this little like bush wall that's here, kind of like a hedgerow, I guess. I might kind of go through and maybe like take some of the top ones out, or maybe the top and middle ones out, to kind of just help with variety along the wall. But it kind of just helps thicken it up and darken it up, because this side doesn't have the vines yet, and you can kind of see through it. And the side that does have the vines, you can't see through as easily. And so it kind of adds that extra level of privacy within the courtyard here. And so now our village's resident mage kind of has this nice little serene garden area. I don't know if it's really a garden, because it's not really manicured. More of just like a serene... Get rid of that one. I don't know, like little meadow thing. I don't know. What would we call this? It's not really like an arboretum, kind of? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know what you would call this. I guess you could call this a garden. Like if you're looking at more of like a European kind of thing, this is a garden. Where it's like intentionally allowing nature to take over, and you kind of just have paths through it. Our pink sheep friend is still over here. I want to let you out, but I'm worried about you jumping down there. And I don't trust that you won't. So this is where you'll stay. And then as far as decorating the interior of the Mage Tower, we've gotten quite a bit done with that as well. So if we come up the stairs, we start out, we have 2 nice dark oak doors. We open them up. And I like to think that this is kind of like, if you have a meeting with the mage, you of course would have to stand. And you just kind of have this like real Spartan, not decorated room. And this is all you get to see of like the mage's like sanctum, really. As we start to go up this small winding staircase, we have the start of what is going to ultimately be an alchemy room. I don't have everything quite yet that I want for setting that up. However, I feel like this is a nice start. It allows me to kind of just have like a rough idea of where I'm gonna want to have like brewing tables and stuff. I have this item frame with a book on it. Maybe like the mage has been sitting here like taking notes and doing some work and stuff. And then if we keep working our way up, we have the start of a library, basically just like old arcane tomes. And again, using the loom blocks to kind of represent places where books kind of have been taken out maybe, or maybe these are areas that are reserved for when the books that go there are found. And then I have a lectern with an open book on it, like possibly it's being studied. And then we go up a little higher. And again, just a real Spartan room, which is basically like a personal chamber, a sleeping chamber. I'm probably going to have some like, I don't know, like a little like armoire here maybe. I don't know how big of a space a mage who mostly wears robes for clothing needs to store clothes. But yeah, maybe like an armoire in one of these spots. Some like personal effects. There's a little dining area over here. I don't know. I guess we could put a second bed and maybe kind of imply that like two mages live here. Maybe like a master and apprentice kind of thing. And then we go up one more round, and we have the top where I've done kind of like this roof section, kind of as a callback to what the rest of the village is doing down below. The Mage Tower has a lot of unique stuff to it as far as decoration goes. And so I kind of just wanted to have this, oh wow, are we that high that this gets snow on top of it? That's cool. So I kind of wanted to have this granite roof to kind of, you know, drive home the idea that this is still part of this same culture. It's just a considerably different style building because, you know, it's not an industrial building, it's not a residential building, and it's not a military building either because the mages are kind of reclusive and independent, and they just work alongside, you know, the crown and the military and stuff. And so they aren't really going to have the same architecture style, but they are going to have some similar themes. There's still some stuff that I'm probably going to do over time to add to this. The library is still going to have to be finished off. Bookshelves are just really expensive resource-wise. And, you know, we're still working on the library down below in the village. And so now I've got 2 places for storing books, and that's just going to take some time to do. Plus, it's going to take a while for all of these vines to grow down and carry it across the entire thing. So this is still a little bit of a work in progress, but as far as like little tiny bits here and there, this is done. Oh, one last thing. I did ultimately go with, it didn't get a lot of votes, but it did get a vote, and that matters. The style for this, I ended up going with the alternating smooth stone slab, smooth stone block, all the way down in all of these, I'm not going to say corner, but they're kind of corners. And that kind of just helps break up the shape a little bit more. So yeah, ultimately I am going to have to, you know, have a staircase going all the way down into where we have our sugarcane farm, which is going to close this off. And I'm going to have to figure out what I want. Do I just want one staircase going all the way down and then the chamber at the bottom? Or are there going to be other things going on? Maybe more frowned upon experiments? Possibly. I'm not sure yet. So one last thing before we completely close this episode out. I'm officially going to call this done. And that's because at this point, anything that needs to be done to this Mage Tower it's just minor tweaks. And so as we go, you know, we're going to keep adding to it and everything. But especially from, you know, this point of view out here, I like that a lot. It's got a cool effect on the skyline. You can kind of see it. Can you see it from everywhere? Can I see it from here? I can't see it from here, which is fine. But I can see it from most other places in the village. Man, that's cool. I really like that a lot. That is going to be it for today. I look forward to seeing you next time in the Lapis Kingdom. Have a great day. Bye.